Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. You know that and I know that. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and too many opinions, and recovering from norovirus and strep at the same time. So it is Saturday, the 22nd, and so that not only me and my familia, but then also to align with my editing team's schedule and to give off my own employees and myself the next week as well, I have to bang out so many videos right now while my son is napping, because who got hand selected for a leadership something course? I didn't really listen too much, but I'm very proud of him. Hand selected for that and did a great job at it this entire week and couldn't take off to help take care of me, my husband. But it's okay. We do what we do. My son also got sick. It was the forking worst. Oh my God. Anyways, if my energy is low, if I'm a bitch during this video, if I'm giving ASMR, I'm so sorry. Okay. My voice sounds insane right now. I am quite literally clenching my butt cheeks. Don't trust a fart after norovirus. Nothing humbles you quite like that.
I have never sat down and unpacked my stalker experience.
Today, we have a little compilation video, something that me and my researcher Kelly have put together, because there have been so many like internet stalker storytime videos out there that have gone viral over the last 3 months on TikTok. And I really want to shed light on them because I find them truly fascinating. And then there's also like catfish ones that we've talked about previously and Roblox ones we've talked about previously. So I've been trying to do more like, not necessarily like compilation videos, but when there are like super similar storylines in these story times, I always want to maybe like shed light on another one, you know? Also, some of y'all saw this blanket. It's very alphabet coded, as you know I am. I need to get a fill on my nails, don't judge me. But this blanket is from Lola Blankets and it's amazing. So I'll have that link down below. Oh my God, it's so cozy. Okay, not Spawn. My God, my tummy. Hi friends, before we get too far into this video, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Paradise Paws. Y'all know I love a cozy mobile game. After I put my kid to sleep, I'm always like, oh, I'll do more work after he goes to sleep and I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do chores. And I'm like, no, what I'm going to do is get all cozy. I'm going to be rubbing my feet together like a little cricket, and I'm gonna be playing a cozy game. It's my favorite way to unwind. It's my favorite way to just relax and just not be in charge of anybody, except for whatever mission I'm going on in these games, okay? So let's step into the world of Paradise Paws. You'll be joining Natalie and her super sassy and kind of hot best friend, Lizzie. Now they have become shipwrecked basically on this island, and they're trying to restore this animal rescue, but like these animals are magical, I guess is the best way you could put it. But then also on the island, there's like all these secrets and just mysterious things going on that you got to uncover. And there's like these secret letters you find that you got to read, and it keeps me on my toes, I'll tell you what. It's not just about caring for these cute little animals. You'll uncover island secrets, push back against greedy developers, and find who left this sanctuary to you. Every merge brings you closer to saving these precious little animals and protecting their home. Gosh darn it. Paradise Paws is free to download. It's ad-free and there's no dead ends. And also it's perfect for offline play, which is absolutely fabulous. Now, if you are one of the first 100 to download through my link in the description box or the QR code that's on screen right now, you'll get an exclusive baby penguin. Look at this little guy. Look how cute he is. Don't disappoint him. Do it. And the best part is he's named after me. So now I'm in your game with you as a cute penguin. I mean, what's better than that? So make sure that you click that link in my description box and get to saving these animals, okay? Thank you to Paradise Paws for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for supporting my sponsors. So for the first one, we're gonna hear from Chloe, and this is her stalker story time that she put on TikTok.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the time that I had an internet stalker and I had to go to court for it. He went to prison and was sentenced to 9 years. So this is unlike my normal content, but I just felt called to share because I don't know about you guys, but I saw the girl who posted how to get into her apartment and how to get out of it in Paris. And the entire time I was like, girl, what are you doing?
So I love that she actually said that, because that was the first thing I thought when I saw, I am so white right now. I'm so sorry. I need to like sit back. Jesus, I'm just looking like Poot Lovato. R.I.P. Poot, you would have loved this. So I love that she said that, because that video on TikTok that went viral, and we'll play some of it right now. So that's the first thing I thought too. I was like, oh, okay, so you're just like, hey, you actually take this many turns to get directly to me. It's like, what the are you doing? Like, why are you giving people a map? X marks the spot. What are you doing? X marks the come murder me. No, thank you.
Freaks out in the world, especially online, if we've not figured that out already. I was about a junior in high school. I started getting tons of really weird and creepy messages on every single social media I had. I'm talking Tumblr. Didn't even post on Twitter, but I had one. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, every social media that existed, I was getting messages. Hundreds a day. I'd be like, what the hell? I wouldn't even read them because they didn't really make sense. And I would just block. Then every single day there would be new ones. They started escalating. I started getting emails, phone calls, texts, everything, every single day. To a point where this person was sending not only like sexually freaky messages, but they were sending very, very threatening messages. My junior year, we reported it to the police and they were tracking, and I was just sending everything off to this deputy. I wouldn't even read it just to like spare my mental health, because I was like, what the hell is like, what is this? I don't know who this person is. I'm freaked out, whatever. Pulled out of class. I go to the principal's office and there's a deputy there, and she sits me down and she's like, you need to share your location with your friends, your family. You cannot go anywhere alone. You have to notify anyone of anywhere that you're going, just so that you are safe, because this person is now a threat to you and you need to go home. Apparently that day, that person had planned to, I don't know. This person was purely online. We actually have no evidence if he came and saw me in person, but it was enough to this point where they were like, oh, this person's a threat. Over the course, so my junior year to my sophomore year of college, this person was contacting me nonstop. I had so many restraining orders, every kind of restraining order you could ever imagine against this person. He was arrested, I'd say like 5, 6, 7 times, I don't even know. It got to the point where they opened a full-blown investigation on this guy because he would not stop. They were confiscating hundreds of cell phones, tablets, laptops, computers, everything. I don't know how I know this, but they told me like the search history was vile, like vile, freaky, and it was my name all over it and about 20 other girls. Me and 2 other girls who were the main victims in the case. I don't know what the exact, like, how the course goes of like going to prison, but he then elected for a jury because he didn't take the plea deal because it meant that he would get to see all of us in person. So sick, so twisted. For years, I was on full-blown edge. I was on edge. It was so horrible and so scary.
That's literally giving me like Ted Bundy vibes of he was representing himself, and like what really, I mean, that ego in itself is what screwed him over. Well, obviously being a serial killer is what screwed him over, but that ego and wanting to like get off on basically like seeing the images of like what he had done, that like sickness of it that like the prosecution obviously saw, and then the judge obviously saw, and like the jury obviously saw too. Like that was like bang, bang, boom, nail in the coffin for him. That is so scary. That is so, 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 so scary. Listen, to my haters out there, to people who could be considered internet stalkers out there, I just want to thank you for not being this crazy, girl. Thank you. Wild.
It was so horrible and so scary. And this person found me online. I was not some big, I think I had like 10,000 followers on Instagram. TikTok didn't even exist. All I'm saying is you don't have to be some major celebrity, you don't have to be some big anything for people to be total freaks. The end of the story is that I ended up going to fucking trial and facing this monster in person, in front of a jury. One of the most violating experiences of my entire life. The fact that I was like forced to be there and be like, yeah, that's him. Yeah, this is, like, they're reading the messages out loud in front of the jury. He got sentenced to 9 years. 9 years. 2018, 2020, 2 years later, he was let out. This is not to scare anyone. This is to just be cautious. People with as much access we have, like, don't post in lifetime. Don't say where you're at when you're actually there. Post after the fact. You never, ever know. And it was some of the worst and scariest years of my life, and I still have a ton of trauma from it. So just beware.
Yeah, that's scary. That's one thing that I've talked about a lot on the internet is like internet safety. And like, there's people that will post like, oh, this is like me, like go through like a day in my life or like a day at my job with me. And I'm like, girl, you got timestamps on that. Like people know where you are, know when you're there, what time you're like, my brain can't even form a sentence right now because it's so confusing to me. And I remember there were times where like I had done that. And then I realized like, oh my God, like that's so, I'm just telling someone where I am. Like what the hell? And don't get me wrong. Like if I'm at like a concert or something, or like I know there have been a few times where I'm at like a very public event or space, but I'm also with my husband. And it's not like I'm there every week or like you'd be able to count on me being there. Right. And I'll say like, oh, come like say hi to us, blah, 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 whatever. And, you know, I have literally my personal security with me. It's okay. But it's fucking scary. And I know that there's kind of like this disillusion of like, oh, well, not that many people are going to see it. And it's like, well, no, well, now anyone can go to your house or your apartment. I mean, there's times when even if someone posts like their backyard, just because like certain things that are in the background or certain things that they say like, oh, well, my house is close to this, or I live around the corner from this, you can literally find it anywhere. And it sucks because people are like, oh, well, if you have this many followers or you're presenting yourself as a public figure, then like you lose that privacy. And it's true, you do lose that privacy. It doesn't mean it's right, but there are such creeps out there and it's so scary. Do y'all remember? I had someone show up at my house. And then I confronted them and they were like, that's not me. I don't even own that shirt. And I was like, solid response. It's literally you. Like, there's no good intention of you trying to go to someone's house. Like, have a brain cell. Lord. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this girl's name and I don't want to butcher it and be disrespectful. Y'all are probably like, damn, Chelsea, that is progress. Sometimes. Listen, usually I don't care, but obviously when they're like sharing a story like this, I do care. So it's IQRA. Ikra? I don't know. I'm so white. It makes me so sad. That's really funny that I just said that as I'm trying to pronounce a beautiful brown woman's name. I mean that the coloring on this video is all messed up. Anyways, let's keep going and listen to this one.
Since it's October and spooky season, I thought I'd share my own real life scary story that happened to me. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been working in the banking industry for more than 3 years now. And during my first year there, I met this older man. He was the same ethnicity as me. So I used to call him Uncle, right? Because he was in his early 70s. So he kind of reminded me of like a father or an uncle. Anyway, this uncle comes in regularly. I end up always helping him. Eventually, he gets my number because he lets me know that I could apply for a government job, that he could help me because he used to be in the government. So he was like, you shouldn't be working here. You should be working for the government. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So anyway, he got my number.
This music is so diabolical, girl. Why'd you do this to me? I'm so locked in. If y'all have had a stalker, please let me know in the comments below if you're like safe and okay to like, mentally and emotionally to share what happened. Before like doing this full time, I had someone at work that like was absolutely obsessed with me and it was very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. And he would call and try to like get like a sales call like with me and only me and a bunch of my work friends and like my manager. I told her, I was like, that's really uncomfortable. Like, he's not looking for accounting services. That's not what it is. I was like, he's just trying to talk to me. And she's like, well, that's a waste of time and that's rude of him because he literally used to work here. And yeah, so that was obnoxious. But there was that. So his number got blocked from like everything. And then one thing is that a lot of like when I first started doing like anti-MLM content, there was this one girl that made so many accounts, like so many usernames across all social media and would follow and like become obsessed with me, Deanna Mims, Isabella Lanter, Savannah Marie. I don't even know if she liked Hannah Alonso at that point, but it's just so many people. And it was so funny because I remember one of the first times me and Deanna and Isabella did like a beach weekend together and hung out. I asked them, I was like, hey, does this bitch comment on y'all's stuff? Because she's so mean to me. Like, she used to be so nice to me and then she's so mean. And I have to like continuously block her from multiple things. It was so funny. It is interesting because it's like, okay, well then like you'll be nice, but then people take it too far. But then like you feel bad. Like for instance, this person, she's bedridden. I don't know her medical diagnoses, but I think she's like a quadriplegic. I'm not quite sure. She would use that and she would say like, oh, I'm like moving down like closer to where you are in Florida. I'd love to hang out with you. And I was like, I'm sorry, that's like crossing my boundaries a little bit. Like I'm not going to do that. But I love your support and I really appreciate it. And, I would be happy to give you some suggestions on like cool places around the area you're going to move. And she did not like that. Started being so mean right away and started saying that I was like a mother effer, just ridiculous things. And I was like, what? And then she would go back and back. I'm like, girl, you're obsessed with me. Please stop. Her one thing would be like, I just try to be friends with you. And I was like, I don't want to be friends with you. Like, you're insane. Like, please leave me alone. But yeah, it truly is unhinged. So I do think it's really interesting to hear stories from people who aren't content creators, people who don't have really big audiences, and being able to hear their stories of like, oh wow, you don't need to have a big audience and you don't need to be accessible to a bunch of people to have a creepy ass situation like this. Maybe I should Did I fix it? Okay, I think I fixed it. I made my lights a little bit dimmer, so maybe I'll be less white now. Probably not. I know what it is. I don't have my overhead light on, but I'm just so like clenching my butt cheeks, and I feel like if I turn on the overhead light, it's gonna make me have to poop. Anyways, back to this woman's story.
He texted me like instructions on what to do. Long story short, it didn't end up working out. Like, it went nowhere. Then he kept my number, but he would keep texting me occasionally saying like, I would love to take you out to lunch or dinner outside of work. Like, let me know when you're free. And I thought it was a nice, cute gesture. So I did go out with him once to dinner. We went to like Red Lobster. And at the dinner, I noticed like he would just talk all about himself and his life. He never would ask me anything. So I thought that was a little weird, but then I realized, okay, maybe he's just a lonely old man. He was married, he is married, but he didn't, you could tell like he wasn't happy. But like I never saw him creepy in that way until like later on. So fast forward to like a year later, he comes in regularly at the bank as usual, and then he starts like bringing me free food, like lunch, without even me asking, without even letting me know.
Hey, that's weird. That's really weird. Without even like asking someone like, hey, can I bring you lunch today? Or like, hey, I'm gonna bring you lunch. Or like, hey, what would you like for lunch? That is red flag times a million for me. I don't like that. I don't like the implication.
What would you like to eat? My treat. So I never expected him to do all this, but he would bring me food. And on holidays, he would also like give me a card. Like he would meet me outside the parking lot at my job, and he'd be like, I have something for you. And he would give me like a card, like a holiday card or something, and inside it would have like cash in it. And I would be like, oh, like you didn't have to do this at all, like thank you so much. I wasn't supposed to take cash from a customer, but since we were outside of work, I thought it was okay. But no, it was not okay. So fast forward to a year later, this was like around the time I started dating someone.
See, this is one of the instances where it's like you're doing things that it's just like nice gestures that you're accepting because it's like, okay, who wouldn't? But then it's also the patriarchy, right, of it all, where it's like, okay, but you're also a pretty woman who you're accepting gifts from someone, and you have to, it sucks that we even have to do that. You can't just accept something from someone. You have to make sure that they know like, hey, this is no strings attached, or I don't have feelings for you. But then like that could make them feel weird. And so then you don't want to do that. You want to assume that people are normal, emotionally regulated adults. But you know, normal, emotionally regulated adults, they don't do this. They don't do this.
Dating someone, a guy that I met at work. So I was dating him for a couple months, and I would tell him stuff like, there's this creepy uncle who likes to bring me food and stuff. He would say stuff like, you know, you need to be careful because like he could be crazy, he could be dangerous. And I would be like, no, he's just like a sweet old man who's just kind of lonely. He sees me as a daughter. I call him uncle. And he's like, no, this just doesn't sound right. You need to tell him like to stop. And I would be like, you're just overreacting. Fast forward to my birthday, uncle texts me to meet him outside after work in the parking lot, and I go, and it ends up being a very creepy encounter because he kind of like corners, like he parks right next to my car and he blocks my doorway because he has his like car door open, which is blocking my driver's side door. So like he tells me to get in as I'm walking towards my car. Mind you, I'm walking out with my boss, my two bosses. They see everything that happens next. Uncle tells me to get in his car. I'm like, no, I can't. And then he's like, just for a little bit. So I have no choice because he's like blocking my doorway.
I have no choice. Yes, you do. And I understand in that situation, she probably felt extremely uncomfortable. It's like, okay, well, like, I just want this to end, but it just sucks because it's like, no, you do have a choice. You can scream in this person's face, be crazier than them. Obviously, don't do that. But like, it just sucks that like, that's how we as humans or as women in general usually feel, is like, well, I didn't have a choice. It's like, yes, you did. You did have, I'm not victim blaming. This is an empowering statement. You always have a choice. No one can take away your choice from you. I say that as I live in Florida and I don't even have like freedom of choice, but you know.
So I slowly, reluctantly get into the passenger seat, and he opens the door for me. He closes it. He goes around to the driver's seat, gets in, and he says,
and then I realize there is no door handles and I can't get out. And then he says, you're going to come home with me and you're going to never leave. You're going to be my wife forever. Like, that's where this is going. It has to.
I just wanted to say, like, I love you so much. Like, I got you all these gifts. And he gifts me like a vase of flowers, a fruit tart, a bag with like some perfume or something I didn't even ask for, and a card in it that has money. And I'm like, my uncle, you really didn't have to do this. And my manager is sitting in her car across the parking lot watching. I slowly like look at her. I'm like, help me. She just looks for a while and then she drives off. And so when she leaves, like, this uncle, he's like telling me how much he loves me in my car. He reaches over to hug me and he tries to cop a feel. I'm like, uncle, stop it. Stop. I just freak out. And I'm so like shocked and everything. And I just tell him immediately, like, thank you so much, but I have to go. I have to be somewhere. So he's like, all right, I'll put your gifts in your car, like unlock your car, I'll put it in the back seat. So I'm like, then he puts the stuff in the car.
Girl. The comments in this video are, or in the comment section, are making me feel a little bit better, because yes, there is like, that must have been so scary, like how scary that was. And someone else, I'm so sorry, but you opened yourself up for this and he was married. Do you think that he didn't want anything back? And she said, no, I truly didn't. And the same person said, but I don't mean this in a mean way. I'm coming from the point of view, this is something my best friend went through. Another person said, girl, please be more vigilant. Yeah, it's so sad, but also like, you shouldn't have to be, right? But no, you do have to be. It sucks. I'm right there with you. We can't wear AirPods or earphones, whatever you call them, when we're running or at night. You can't go running at night, okay? And again, I just want to make it very clear, I'm not blaming her for anything like that. Like, that's very inappropriate. But also when gifts and stuff like this are being given and like those boundaries are being crossed, and it's like, hey, what? No. Like, you need to be firm with your boundaries. And when things start getting muddy or being crossed, it's like, unless you stop it, it's going to keep going.
And then I immediately turn the car on and I race out of there. I call my boyfriend at the time. I tell him what happened. I'm like freaking out, panicking. And my boyfriend at the time was like, don't go home, come straight to my place in case he follows you. So I go, right? Next day at work, my boss calls me into her office. She tells me that you need to stop seeing this uncle. You could have put your life in danger. You need to text him right now in front of me. Tell him that you're not allowed to you're not allowed to text me anymore. If you come into the bank, I'm not allowed to help you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I agree. The boss did the right thing there. They did not do the right thing by leaving her in the car with him. But then again, she did get in there willingly, but still.
So then I get in trouble at work. I don't get like written up because my boss is like, what you did was stupid, but I'm going to give you another chance. So you need to not see this uncle, not have any communication with him anymore. And I was like, okay. And I tell him and he's kind of upset, but whatever. Then 6 months later, something happens. And I'm running out of time, but I'm going to put it in part 2.
There we go, fellas. I opened up a window, or I opened a blind. This blanket is so amazing. I got Tony the blue one and I got the green one. Pink goes good with green. You guys, I can't see Wicked for Good. I mean, I've seen not Broadway, on the West End, but I've seen the show and I've read the book. I know exactly what happens. It's okay. I have every song memorized. However, I can't see Wicked for Good in person, like in theaters, because every single time, even when it was Idina Menzel and I was about to say Kristen Chenoweth, even when it was them singing For Good or any other pairing, I cry like someone just killed my dog, or like my husband left me. Like it's not okay, and it's really offensive. But then hearing them, Ariana and Cynthia, sing it, I'm just like, oh, how dare you? How dare? Okay, so she did a part 2, and I wasn't gonna include that, but now I'm like, okay, well, what happened, girl? Did he die from a mysterious manner? Did you do it?
This is part 2 of my Get Ready With Me scary story times.
So she starts off this part 2 saying that it was 6 months later after she had told him to not talk to her anymore. And then from there, she's still working at the same bank, and she gets in her car after work and she sees that like her tire pressure light is on. And then she takes it to, I guess, like Costco Tire or someplace and gets them to take a look at it. And they call her back and they're like, hey, what do y'all think happened?
He calls me and he's like, hey, we checked out your tire and unfortunately it looks like there was a sidewall puncture on your tire, so it's irreparable, so you need to get it replaced. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought, probably just ran over a nail or something, but I was like, how did this happen? And he's like, oh, it could have been for a couple of reasons, like you could have hit a curb or you could have drove on like a bunch of potholes. I was like, no, I really don't drive that much. Like I live near my job and this happened like right after I got off my job. So he's just like, okay, it could have been something, rare occurrence. Later that month, the same thing happens again.
Listen, girl, as someone who has gotten a lot of sidewall punctures and has frequented South Tampa Auto and Tire, love the guys over there. They're great. There was a point where they used to see me like 5 times a year. I'm not joking. I used to have to get my tire. Like I would drive over a nail all the time. There was also a lot of construction by my house, and then also a lot of construction by where I worked too. Like I worked in a new construction home community, like selling those homes. So I was just driving through construction all the time. And of course there's going to be like random nails and shit. And so I would always get, my God, it was so annoying. And of course it's always like just too far over to where they can't just like patch it. It blows. But if you're not someone who has a lot of construction by you or something like that, right? And you live like right by your work, that is weird for you to, and if there like isn't a nail still like in the tire, which the person who's finding the hole would have told you that. So that is weird.
Got one tire replaced and then I had to get it replaced again. I'm like getting annoyed. I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to drive better, like whatever. Fast forward to July, same thing happens. I get a sidewall puncture on a different tire. I get another puncture.
So that's 4. She had 2, and then she had one in July, and then she had one in August. That's 4, girl. That's insane.
In August. So I get 2 in August, all at different times in the month. So at this point, I'm like, okay, it's not my driving, like something's going on. So I begin to think who or what could have caused it, because I noticed that this would always happen right after work. That morning I would drive to work, my tire would be fine, no lights on whatsoever. But when I would get off work and get in my car, that's when the tire light would be on and it would say low pressure. The last incident happened in February, but it wasn't a tire issue. This time it was my sensors went off. One weekend I had to park on the street because my sister from out of town was coming to visit and she parked in front of the house, so I would park outside on the street of my neighborhood. And one day I was going to the grocery store and I turned my car on and I noticed like all my lights were on and I was getting an alert from my Toyota app. So I was like so confused. I was like, how did this happen? So I call my dealership immediately. I make an appointment for the next day for them to check it out. While I'm there at the dealership, the technician calls me into the area where my car is. And he's like, come here, I want to show you something. So then he shows me behind one of my front wheel tires. I'll insert a picture. But he tells me that someone attempted to cut my brake line.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's attempted murder. That's attempted vehicular homicide. Not really, but that's attempted murder. That is crazy. That is so scary. Oh my God. Part 2 was worth it. I'll tell you what, girl. Ooh, yikes. Wow. That's so scary. But you have to think, like, would if it was this guy, or in this situation, like, if you're not letting it get that far and you're standing firm in those boundaries, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And I understand we shouldn't have to do that. We should not have to do that. People shouldn't be creepy, right? People should just be normal, well-functioning adults. But that doesn't happen, unfortunately. So you have to protect yourself. What do you do there? Like, would he have attempted to murder her? To do the homicides? Like, if she wouldn't have like accepted lunch from him or accepted money from him? I hate that I'm even saying that, but it's like, you have to be so vigilant, you know? Also, I'm so happy that she's okay. Obviously. So fucking happy.
Super shocked. I'm like, what? And I'm scared, you know? I'm like, who would do this? I start crying. I call my sister. I file a police report. Police comes to my job, you know, a few days later to like question me about who I think the suspect is. My bosses tell me that they think that it's the creepy uncle who I cut off contact with. They were like, yeah, we think it's him because like, one time he came into the branch and someone else was helping him. He said that you, meaning me, was a very bad person and he seemed angry. You know, he's like this frail, short old man. Like, I didn't think he would be strong enough to puncture my tire, you know, especially like in a shopping center parking lot where my bank was. Unfortunately, the property manager of that shopping center did not have any cameras in the parking lot. So, you know, I wasn't parked close enough to my bank where they could see my car. We just suspected that it was this uncle. So the police asked me, hey, do you want me to question him? I was like, sure, but like, you know, don't mention me. So he goes there with his partner, questions the uncle. The deputy calls me back. He's like, you know, I think we scared him because I kind of mentioned that, you know, he needs to stop like harassing ladies at the bank, but I didn't say your name. So I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So he was like, I think that scared him. Long story short, I end up getting transferred at work to another branch. And then I never get any tire incidents again, knock on wood. So I feel safer there. But my managers at my old branch tell me that this uncle's wife comes into their branch and starts looking for me. She thinks that I must have been his long lost daughter that he had from another person, you know, long time ago. And it's just crazy. My manager has to like escort her out. It's just crazy. So moral of the story is, do not be too nice. You never know who people are. And your safety always comes first. So
yes, girl, I absolutely love that sentiment at the end. And that's so true. It does suck, but it's like, listen, you don't be so accepting. You do need to have up boundaries, especially when you don't know someone's intentions. Intention is everything. So I love that she finished with that. Also, she's so beautiful. So our next one is Maggie Williams. And in her caption of this, it says, this experience changed me. So this one is a bit more, I don't want to like try to compare trauma, but like on a sliding scale, this one is a bit more traumatic. And it says, it was terrifying, traumatic, but if sharing my story helps anyone stay safe, it's worth it. There's more to the story than I could fit in this video, but I hope that it sheds light on how real stalking can be. Stay safe, ladies.
I realized that I have never sat down and unpacked my stalker experience with you guys. So I'm going to tell you that story, but I do want to reference my phone for notes because y'all, there's a lot to unpack here, and there is an extensive list of events that unfolded over several years. 4 years ago, I got an Instagram DM. And as a creator, you get a high volume of DMs. They're really hard to catch, but I saw this one and something told me to open it. So I did. And it was a very, very flattering message of a young man who was trying to shoot his shot or court me, whatever. It was very flattering. However, I scroll up and there are backlogged messages that show years of attempts of trying to reach out to me. We had no mutual followers, and there's actually a really unique timeline here because I was in a public relationship for 1.5 years. You can see where he messaged me before my relationship became public. He kind of paused the messages while I was in this relationship, and as soon as the public became aware that I was single again, the messages became very, very persistent. This individual had his city and state in his bio, which was states and states away from where I was living, like 600 miles away. So I wasn't worried about it, and I just ignored it, and I just chalked it up to whatever. I continue to check my messages once a week because that is a common way for businesses to reach creators. And while I wasn't opening them, I began to notice that his name was popping up at the top whenever I refreshed my messages a lot of the time. Eventually, I do go view his message request once again because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is reaching out to me all the time. So whenever I do view his message request, I can see that his tone has shifted from flattery to angry. And you can tell that me not responding is being perceived by the sender as rejection. Initially, my thought process was, if I do not block this person, then they will truly never know if I have ever laid eyes on these messages. They won't ever know they've actually reached me, and that's the way I want it to be. So I continue to not block him and just go about my life. And that is until I start getting Facebook friend requests by accounts with this person's name. Keep in mind, at this point in time, I had a private friends and family only Facebook. So I get this message request, and I'm like, I not only delete it, but I block this account. And the second I blocked this account, it was like the same day, he made another new Facebook account and added me again. And this started a cycle. The faster I would block these Facebook accounts, the sooner he would make another one in an attempt to send me a friend request. Then he shows up in my TikTok comment sections and he's being very vulgar. He's saying a lot of false, untrue, and just angry things about me. So I continue to block him. But the faster I block him, the more he makes accounts. It was so unusual. And also at this point in time, I'm a full-time college student and a part-time content creator. And it became so evident that this man had more time on his hands than me because I could not keep up. At this point in time, I get another Facebook friend request from this person, but I actually do a deep dive on his profile before blocking him this time, and what I discover is dozens and dozens of posts of blonde women that he is infatuated with, myself included, but his other interests were like blonde political commentators. Like Tommy Lauren was his other one that he really, really liked and posted about, but I think all of them had political backgrounds besides myself. But what was really unique is that there was no common theme in these posts. Some of them he would be applauding these women, and others he would basically be calling us evil. I blocked that Facebook account and I'm trying to move on with my life whenever I start getting cryptic emails from this person. And they are just very detailed, in-depth stories of essentially me betraying him throughout our childhood, betraying his family, and he paints me to be this evil figure in all of these stories. So at this point, obviously, I look up this guy's public record and I see, okay, he is 6 or 7 years older than me. So obviously they are not true, but they're not even hypothetically possible. Like, we were never children at the same time. We were never in the same classrooms. I don't know his grandparents like he is insisting that I do. It just becomes evident in these emails that he is genuinely angry and he is convinced with all his heart that I have done heinous things to his grandparents, who I've never met, that live 600 miles away from where I was raised.
This is the type of story that like someone obviously like becomes obsessed and maybe they are misdiagnosed with some type of disorder or are having like a schizophrenic episode, or I don't know, but this is the type of story that ends with someone driving like thousands of miles to literally end up at someone's front door and just like kill them. It's terrifying. It is so terrifying. I'll tell you what, no time like the present would it be a great idea for us to have a free, not only free, but mandatory mental health care, like just therapy, free therapy for all. Non-Americans who are watching this are probably like, wait, your therapy is not free? It's not, Deborah. It's not.
A few days go by and I get a phone call from my mother. And this is very upsetting. I'm going to try not to get emotional. But she asked me if I have seen this guy's Facebook post. Because he had posted a screenshot of the Google Maps aerial view of my childhood home where my parents raised me, that they currently lived in. And he was encouraging people online to ransack their house because they were bad people and they deserved it. This obviously broke my heart because, first of all, my parents did not ask to be in the public eye. I subjected myself to be a creator and to live a public life, but they did not ask for this. They are just good old country folks. They are God-fearing Americans who've worked for everything they have ever had. And so to see somebody that they don't even know put them in danger, that's whenever things got real. My parents contact the authorities. But since this man does not live in my state, state investigators cannot do anything. So we reach out to his state authorities, and they can't help me because I'm 600 miles away. The number one thing that everyone is encouraging me not to do is to get a restraining order because they say that's just a piece of paper and that will make things worse. So at this point, we've had no contact. I mean, there is no point where we ever have contact.
Yeah, but if you make it to where he can't contact you, or like he doesn't contact you, okay, but that's not true. That's literally not true. And I know, yes, at times, there have literally been times when my lawyer is like, we can do a restraining order, like we'll get a TRO approved, but we will absolutely be able to get a restraining order like approved against this person. I'm like, no, because I'm not going to sit there and lie and say I'm scared of them. I'm not. This person's an idiot. But the thing is that like in this situation, yeah, I would have done that. If someone was encouraging people on the internet to go to my parents' house, I also would be sitting on the front porch of my parents' house with an over-under shotgun. The new one I just bought my husband for our 10-year anniversary. Girl, that is crazy. I hate even saying crazy, like related to this, because obviously this person has very, very big mental health issues happening. But it's infuriating when people will sometimes, ooh, what kind of bird is that? Hold on, there's a bird outside my window. What do we got here? Is a blue jay? What the blue jay is? It's banana spirit in there. It's not her. She's a tiger butterfly. What's happening? Okay, anyway, so I'm so delirious when I'm sick. The OG CCSUAREZ channel members know. They know, okay? I am so delirious when I'm sick. It is out of control. However, when people are like, oh, it's just a piece of paper, and it's like, yes, but then you have the paper trail as well. And then you get the TRO. That means that hopefully if they abide by it, that they can't contact you. They can't talk about you, right? If that is one of the stipulations in there. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a dumb bitch with a camera and who knows too much about this specific topic, right? It's like a special interest of mine. God, it makes me think of Kendra, the one who fell in love with her therapist, her psychologist. Anyways, so with that, it's really frustrating and discouraging for other people as well. But I'm happy that she is saying, she's sharing her story, because realistically, like, you do have that paper trail then. Then if they break the restraining order, then jail time, baby. Like, let's go. And these threats that this person's making and all of this crazy bullshit that he's putting out there, yeah, it doesn't seem like he would stop. So that's what you need to do. And does it take time? Yes. Does it take money? Unfortunately, yes. Can you crowdsource that? Hopefully.
Parents and my friends began to monitor them because they were public. On his Facebook diary account, he starts to post accusing me of heinous disasters. He is accusing me and convinced that I am responsible of closed case disasters that took place before I was even born. He is also convinced that I am in cahoots with the Russian.
Closed case disasters, girl, was he blaming like the Holocaust on you? Are you John Wilkes Booth? Like, before you were born, what do you mean? Maggie Williams, more like Lee Harvey Oswald, am I right? Like, that right there. Obviously, yes, before we could see the red flags of this is a very mentally unwell person, but clearly with that, like, there's no reasoning with them. So yes, restraining order. These are like the types of people who, like that one lady who tried to break into Keanu Reeves' car and kept sending him emails calling her his like divine wife or something like that. And it's like, some people will get mad and be like, oh, well, you don't need to be like so aggressive with these types of people, like they're unwell. And it's like, I understand that. But again, what is their intention? I've always said, you don't have a good intention coming to someone's house that you don't know. You might think, oh, I'm just going to say hi. They don't want to say hi to you. They don't know you. So no. Like, when people show up at YouTubers' houses, no. You're being selfish. They don't know you. They don't want to see you. This is their safe space. Get out. Like, what are you doing? And same with this bullshit.
Government, and he posted on Facebook all the time. A few days later, he posted a Google Maps route on his Facebook, and it is a route from his town that he lived in to my college town where I was living in. Keep in mind that I'm from Sleepy, Arkansas, so I would post what restaurants that I frequented at. I wanted to promote a local business. I had the same license plate on my truck from the time I was 16, which had my name on it. And I just posted like this for years. Well, I get home from this restaurant and I am notified on my iPhone that there is an AirTag on my vehicle. I go to his Facebook profile, and this same night, he has posted a picture in front of a hotel that is half a mile from my college house. I can't find the AirTag, but I read on Google that you need to run through a car wash if you can't find an AirTag. In case it's on your undercarriage, you'll knock it off. I go through the car wash, I call the police, there's nothing they can do. Then his mother reaches out to my mom. She tells my mother she's worried for my safety and genuinely believes that I am in danger. She says her son was a good kid all of his life, lost his mind in his mid-20s, has no grasp of reality, and she says that he has been talking about me like he has known me for years. She tried to convince him he doesn't know me, and he gets angry at her and takes it out on her. She said that she was scared for her life, and I should be scared for mine too. It's turkey season. What do? I'm an online college student. I leave town and I go turkey hunting for the next 3 months. I don't stay in the same place 2 nights in a row. I quit posting my present location. I don't stay in the same place more than 1 night, but the harassment of messages and posts and comments will not stop. I thought I was being slick until one of my friends that is also a creator posted publicly that I was with them in real time, and he posted in his little Facebook diary that he was driving to that state. And then he posted that someone needs to end my life. At this point, he has aunts reaching out to me telling me that I'm in danger, but I don't know if that is his aunt or if that is him trying to reach me. A few days later, he posts online that he is going to harm a very well-known branch of a huge global corporation that was local to him, and he gets locked away. A lot of women are encouraged to stay silent on their stalker experiences for their safety, but I want to raise awareness. Ladies, never post where you're going or where you've been.
It's truly crazy that here's the thing is that we could say all day long, like, oh, well, it's crazy that like he only got put in prison or jail, whatever, because he had threatened like a big corporation. But it's also like, if she didn't start that paper trail, like what is going to happen, right? Obviously, I think it would have been a little bit different. Of course, we don't know, but I do hope that it would have been a little bit different if she would have called and was like, I have a restraining order on this person. I'm pretty sure they put an air tag on my car. I just got an alert that they're, is this on my car? I need someone to come out and need you to inspect it and find it. All that, right? Like for breaking restraining order, he would have been put in jail or prison, whatever, prior to that. However, I do understand that it's easier said than done. And then also that aspect of all of this and the legal system is not something that a lot of people know about. And that's why when people are like, oh, it's just a piece of paper. It's like, no, it's not. It's literally not just a piece of paper. My Lord, it's so frustrating. It's something that could possibly keep you safe, okay? Or at least start that process and start that paper trail, which is so important. Well, I'm so happy that she's okay. And I'm so surprised that this doesn't have more views. Like, it's really weird that it doesn't. So we've been trying to give advice, resources, things like that in my videos lately. And this is actually a really good one from a private investigator. And we've shared stuff like this before, but I think that it's good. So let's go ahead and listen to this one.
So I've been working on a stalking case recently, and I thought I should share things you should do if you feel like you're being stalked. Now, disclaimer, I am not law enforcement. I am not an attorney, and this is not legal advice. Now that we're past all that, here's the first thing. If you follow a routine on a daily basis, change it up. Stalkers rely on patterns and predictability. So switch up what time you leave the house each day, switch up the route that you take to work, switch up the coffee shop that you shop to every morning. Do not do the same exact thing every single day. Next thing is going to be tell somebody. Hey, stalkers rely on you being intimidated and quiet and secretive about it, maybe because you're embarrassed, maybe because you're scared. For whatever reason, they rely on that. So always tell someone what's going on so the people around you are aware. In case something does happen, you want someone to have known what you've been going through. Third, be aware of your surroundings. I always repeat that, and I think it should go without saying at this point, but I still feel like I need to repeat it. So pay attention to your surroundings. Okay, don't be a zombie walking around out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Know who's around you. Know what car has been following you. Know what cars you keep repeatedly seeing. Know the people that you keep repeatedly seeing. Be aware of your surroundings. And finally, you might want to keep something on you, because at the end of the day, if you got to defend yourself, a piece of paper is not going to help.
Yes, absolutely. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I've always said that, like I said at the beginning of this video, the like, oh, here's my day in the life, and this is where I go at this time and this time and this time. Like, if it's like a Sunday reset video and you're like at home, okay, fine. But I think it's important to not post everything online. And then also when you are somewhere, yeah, if you want to support a business, maybe do that like after you leave, or not say days when you go there. And I know that I don't want to say like, oh, it's hard, but I know it can be like kind of inconvenient sometimes, because it's like, well, I want want to share this. Like, I want to help this business and I want to connect with my followers and like my, you know, my audience. But it's like, yeah, but there are people out there who don't have good intentions like you do right now. And I understand that that's frustrating. Bubble guts is also frustrating. And that's what I have right now. So I hope you enjoyed this compilation video. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. Please know that your butt looks good. Please know that Wiggum has been snoring on the daybed in my office this entire time. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And I hope that every single morsel that you eat goes straight to that ass. I hope it goes straight to them cheeks. And if not, I hope it goes straight to your back. Yeah, girl. All right. Well, I have to go film 4 more videos and then maybe take a nap. Maybe my kid will stay asleep. Oh, no, he won't. I just looked at the time. Well, shoot. Okay. If you're subscribed, your butt looks good and all that calories and juicy morsels are just going to make your butt look juicier. And if not, you're dead to me. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.